This is going to sound crazy to a lot of you, but if I was given the opportunity tomorrow to drop my online coaching business and take over a business that generated 10, 15 million a year in revenue, I'd probably say no. In fact, I know I would say no. Not because I don't want more money, of course, who doesn't want more money? But because I know what would come with taking on a business of that scale. I know what would happen if you took on that sort of business. So I think before we carry on with this video, a little bit of a backstory is probably needed. So before I had my online coaching business, I was a production manager for a company that manufactured cinematic lenses. We manufactured lenses for the film and TV industry. And they were used on some big things. Venom, The Irishman, Downton Abbey, that's a big one here in the UK. Our lenses were used on many big things. But as a production manager for that company, I was responsible for a team of around 30 people who were manufacturing these lenses. That meant I was responsible for their holidays, their sick days, sorting out work, making sure the work was getting done, training people, lots of things that come with being a manager. It meant that I was also responsible for sitting in on managers' meetings with the other managers, the CEO, the COO, and talking about revenue. Our company at the time was owned by an investment firm, and that meant that we had to hit targets. That meant that the company had to grow because there were investors leaning on the company to make sure that that happened. They wanted a return on their investment. Of course they did. Meant that I had to sit in these meetings and we'd talk about revenue. What's the target this month, this quarter, next quarter? And we would talk about these, whether we could hit them, why we couldn't hit them, whether we were going to go over them. And it was always just about more. And before I started my online coaching business, that is the world that I was in. I was in that world of managing quite a lot of people. You know, quite a lot of time-consuming stuff comes with managing 30-odd people. And also in a world of chasing targets. And when I started my online coaching business, I was still there. I worked 9 to 5 as well as starting my coaching business like many people do. I'd promised myself, I don't want this. What I want is a full-time income in part-time hours. That was what I promised myself that I was gonna build in my new online coaching business. But I was very naive at the time, because you see, when I started my online coaching business and I started to earn more money and it was just me and I, watching lots of Instagram and YouTube and learning from people, and I had a business coach, I started doing the same thing. I started to chase target after target. I went from 5 grand a month, which was when I left my job. I was earning 5 grand a month in my business. Very quickly then to 10, to 15 grand a month, to 20, to 25, and you can see where that escalates. I was chasing the target. Now, what was happening isn't uncommon. In fact, it happens probably with 90% of businesses out there. I'd fell into what I thought was the dream. I wanted to earn more revenue. I wanted to take staff on. I wanted to have a big swanky office, and I'm a dog trainer, and I wanted to have a big swanky area to do my dog training. This is before we transitioned to being completely online. I wanted all of those things, a big office. I wanted to be the businessman. That was what I wanted. And I wanted to grow this business and have staff working for me and be able to kind of come in on a Wednesday morning with my Starbucks in my hand and say, hey, what's going on? How's this going? How's that going? And I wanted to be the businessman. Because in my mind, from watching lots of YouTube, watching lots of Instagram and talking to lots of other business owners, that was what you did. That was what you built, but it was never sitting right with me. There was always something niggling in the back of my brain that was saying, this isn't right, this isn't you, this isn't why you left your 9 to 5 business. So as I grew, I started to see the trap. And it's a trap that not many people talk about. They all glorify growing, scaling. They all glorify taking on employees and having a fancy office, but they don't talk about the trap, and I was falling into the trap. Now, for context, I have a 2.5-year-old son. At the time, he wasn't 2.5, but as we stand now, he's 2.5, nearly 3 years old. And what was happening was I was spending less time at home with my family, much less time at home with my family. When I was at home with my family, I was not present. All I was thinking about was business, targets, customers, how do we bring this in, how do we bring that in, what do I do next, looking at premises. So even when I was at home, my brain had no switch off. There was no off switch at all. And this is part of the trap that I think many people fall into. The trap you then fall into is thinking that revenue, what you turn over, is the golden number. And it isn't. Revenue is irrelevant. How much you earn, how much you turn over is irrelevant. How much do you actually keep in your pocket at the end of the month. That is what is relevant. And as you scale, the trap is you start spending more. You hire staff, that costs more money. You take on a bigger premises, that costs more money. You probably start running, because you've got a bigger operation, running more ads, and that can definitely swallow up your money. If you're not careful with ads, that can take a huge dent out of your profits. So what happened was I started to fall into the trap. I started to fall into the trap of being like, okay, I'm earning more money and I'm trying to chase these dreams that don't really sit right with me. I'm earning more money, but I'm keeping less of it. Something's got to change. This does not feel right to me. And then I found the solution. We stripped everything back. I dropped the premises. I went completely online. It's now just me in the business. I operate with one, maybe two services, core services. I build a strong personal brand. I build great trust with my followers and my leads. I enjoy what I do again, but crucially, I spend time with my family and time doing things that I wanted to do. What I want to do is wake up on a random Thursday and go out on my mountain bike. I want to go to the gym when it's quiet. I want to go out for lunch with my wife. I want to get my son out of bed in the morning and I want to put him to bed when he goes to bed at night. I want to be there to read him a story before he goes to bed. They're the things that I actually wanted, and I sat down and I thought about all of this and I stripped everything away. Does that mean that I earn less revenue, less turnover? Yes. Have I lost profit? No, I haven't. My profit has stayed pretty much about the same. So I earn the same amount. I have much less stress. I can switch off. I can go on holiday and just not think about it really. I have to answer a few messages, make sure everything's okay. But that's about it. I don't have to think about paying people, paying staff, running huge amounts of ads. So for me, the solution was to have a stripped back business, which you can do nowadays. As an online coach, you can do it with just yourself. You can earn very, very good income in less hours as a stripped back operation. And this is what I teach you guys. So if you want to learn more about stuff like this, be sure to drop me a subscribe, because I'm going to be giving you lots of information about what I've done, mistakes I've made. But I realized that that was what I wanted, and I went for it and I did it, and I'm proof that it is achievable. You don't have to just be chasing goals. Chasing the next revenue number is pointless if it's not for anything. If you're just chasing a revenue number for nothing and you're sacrificing time with your kids, your family, your hobbies, not enough online coaches have hobbies, not enough online business people have hobbies, in my opinion. Their life is business. I don't want my life to just be my business. I love business and I love my business, what I do, but it's not my life. It's not just what I do, if that makes sense. So you can do this. My point to you guys is that you can do this. I stripped everything back. 1 to 2 simple core offers. Generate good quality content, but we're not spamming content. I'm not uploading content 3-4 times a day. Not at all. You know, I upload content 3 or 4 times a week, something like that. And keep it simple. Keep it simple. Build good amounts of trust. Collect emails and nurture your leads. Do it in an authentic way and you can strip everything back. So I suppose what I'm trying to say to you guys here is the goal isn't to build a business that's bigger. It isn't to build a bigger business for the sake of building a bigger business. The goal is to build a business that facilitates the life you want to live. You want your life to be bigger. More travel, more time with friends, more family, more hobbies. You want your life to get bigger and you want your business to facilitate that. If you build a bigger business, it will not facilitate that because your life will be the business. So if you want to learn how to build an online coaching business that earns you and your family a very good income in part-time hours, as I always say, a full-time income in part-time hours, where you can enjoy life, a business that isn't stressful, that doesn't take over every living moment of your day, then this is the channel to subscribe to. I am the person to watch. So be sure to subscribe, hit the like button and comment below if you've got any thoughts on this.